welcome to your Pilates session. Today we're going to move. We're going to move to mobilise. I do have my band. Underneath there are two small weights, or as you do know, you can use cans instead. Okay, but they're there if you want to use them. But as I said, we're going to mobilise. We're going to move bigger. I'm on a little bit of a mission to work on our flexibility and our mobility, as well as the strength and stability, and simply moving a little bit bigger will most definitely help. Let's place our feet hip distance apart and parallel. And I'd like you to try and spread your toes as much as you can and settle yourself through your footprint, being aware of the slight arches in your feet and being aware of the alignment of your ankles more than anything. We really do not want to collapse. So we just get that little bit of a lift on the insides of the feet. Our knees are just a bit soft and we are lovely and tall. Now I spent yesterday working with a gentleman who can stand lovely and tall and then spends a lot of time like that on his phone or doing something here and suffering with neck pain, funnily enough. So we're going to try and rectify that and just try and help the muscles of the neck by being lovely and long here, broad across the shoulders, which is definitely helped by a few big shoulder rolls. Brilliant. Two more and one more as you allow your arms to hang down by your side, nice and broad across the front and back of the shoulders and your ribs in line with the pelvis. As you stand here, I'd like you to just take a few slightly deeper breaths. As you breathe out, relax the shoulders, let the day fall off your shoulders, and then become aware of the pelvic floor muscle and that drawing in belt of support around your waist, that corset that supports the lumbar spine and pelvis, and it literally goes all the way around, attaches to your spine and comes all the way around the middle. Create your waist. We're going to move. Breathe in. Engage that muscle, and as you breathe out, take your arms all the way up and lovely and wide. And again, all the way up. Trying to get your arms up and back as far as you can, and then lengthen across the front of the shoulders and the chest. Your neck is lovely and long. Nice big range of movement. As we do 4 more. Last 3. Good. Taking the arms round and down behind you if you can. 1 more. And then we're going to do our back strokes. We're going to lead with the little finger round and down, and then the other one. So we still focus really on opening across the front of the chest and shoulders, and we start to rotate the spine as we look around behind, and then again. Brilliant. We're going to do another 4 of these. You can move your hips, definitely. A little bit of movement is good. And then allow yourself to settle. And then allow your arms to swing. As you look round behind you, maybe palms out or facing forwards as you swing your arm back. Just getting this lovely rotation. Noticing how you feel as you do this. Does it feel the same on the right as it does to the left? 4 more. 3 more, 2 and 1. Settling back to the center here, where I'd like your knees to be a little soft. Reach up towards the ceiling. Gently go down. And then the other way, a nice big reach. Noticing the stretch down the side of the body because you're reaching up rather than collapsing over to the side. We don't need to do that. Just get that lovely reach. Notice the curve if you can. We'll do another 4. Conscious of that corset support, definitely. Knees a little bit soft. 2 more, please. And then again. And of course, this is all about just warming up, really, as we march on the spot. And as we march here, we're warming up the legs. But at the same time, I'd like you to notice how balanced you feel on your right and your left foot. We need good balance. Falling over is not funny, it hurts. The children bounce, the adults break. So we're going to do another 4 of these. Just raising the knee, being aware of the core, being aware of your balance on each foot really. You might find it better on one side than the other. Then allow yourself to settle, and of course we need to be able to sit down and stand up. So when we sit down, we send our bottom back, but our knees go forwards where our toes point. Our shoulders are still broad, and yes, the hands drift forward to aid your balance, but it doesn't mean you need to bring your shoulder blades up the back of the rib cage. Just let them sit back there. They're quite happy down there, as you do. More. We'll do 3 more. Lifting up to the top of the head, and then again, and just 1 more, and then rest. Okay, so we are definitely a little bit warmer and maybe a little bit more mobile, but what I'd like you to do is spread your weight through one foot, and then take the other one in front and draw circles with your foot. 8 circles in each direction, please. Just mobilising the ankles, and then we're going to go the other way. 8 big circles. And then plant your foot back down, noticing that whilst you did that, you were stood on one leg quite happily as you engage the core, shift, and do the other side. If, however, it's quite difficult, the balance, you can hold a wall and you can sit down, but mobilise your ankles as we do another few. We want mobility, but definitely stability. So we are going to challenge the stability a little bit. Oh, I lost my circles. So then once you've done 8 in each direction, plant your feet back to the floor. Because what we're going to do now is just challenge the balance a little bit more and open through the front of the hips. So focus the eyes in front, engage the core. You can hold on as you raise the knee and take the foot behind you. We have done this a lot, okay, because it's all about balance, standing on one leg. And then we may as well extend the hip a little bit and use the glutes. We often do it stood on a block. You can absolutely touch the floor behind you, but stay tall. And we're going to do 10. I reckon I've got another 3 to do. And once you've finished your 10th one, plant the foot. Notice the stabilising muscles, but you've got the other side to do. So focus your eyes, engage your core, raise the other knee. Notice how challenging it may be on this side in comparison to the other. Or maybe you've just mastered the balancing. Leg goes behind you. Good. 4 more for me to make 10 of these. I didn't specify, but you could move your arms. Some of you are doing that. And then once you've finished your 10, settle. But here we're going to still work a little bit on balance, but we're going to shift from one leg to the other, and we're going to lift our heel up towards our bottom. Now I've done this a little bit recently because I'm really aware that maybe our hamstrings are a bit tight, and we need them to be longer and more flexible, but we also need them to be strong. We need to be able to get our heel up close to our bottom without getting cramp. As we literally lift the heel, but keep the knee pointing down. Okay, and then alternate sides. Fabulous. Let's do 4 more. And lower, last 3. And 1 more. And then we're going to add the squat as we have done before, making a little bit more work for the legs. So we sit back, stand up, lift one heel, as much as you can, okay? You could stay standing and just do the hamstring curl if you like, or we could add the squat. Strengthening, working on our leg strength. We all want to be strong on our legs, steady and secure on our feet. There's strength and stability around our ankles. Maybe we walk a lot, maybe we walk a lot off-road, definitely we want that stability around the ankles then. As we go again. Lift the heel towards the bottom. One more on each side. And then rest. Oh, noticing our legs. Let's give our hamstrings a cheeky little stretch. So we squat down, relax over the knees, lift your bottom and draw yourself back up. Slide your shoulder blades down your back. Now I may as well take the arms up and just glance up. Take the arms lovely and wide. And then again, sit back, relax, lift your bottom and draw yourself back up. Realigning the spine, tall and broad, raise the arms up and back. Let's do one more. A nice little stretch in the back of the legs. Definitely aware of feeling a little taller when we come back up. And then rest. Okay, so we have definitely worked and woken up the stabilising muscles of the legs and moved a little bit. Let's move to the upper body. This is where you could grab your band if you wish. Okay, and I like doing this because it's good for your shoulders. Please be very careful. Again, we've done this quite a bit recently. Hold as wide as you like with the band. Take the band up, round, and that might be enough. But if you are able to take it further, then please do. Okay, as we maybe hold a bit closer in, if you feel that you can get a slightly better stretch. A better stretch across the shoulders. Okay, as we take the hands around and down. And then over the top. And again. Fabulous. So please, please, please be careful. Don't go too quickly, otherwise you're going to hurt yourself. If you whip your arms around, you're going to tear something. So please go really steadily. Now, we want this flexibility in our shoulders to be able to get our arms up and back here, particularly if you play a variety of sports or you swim. So for swimming, golf, tennis, racket sports, we want the flexibility here. And actually, it's going to help reduce our risk of injury anyway, as we do just one more and then over the top. Great. Let's get rid of the band. We stay tall and we think about those smaller muscles, and we know that the shoulder is a number of bones and a number of joints. The collarbone, the shoulder blade and the arm. So if we stand here, sitting the shoulder blades down the back of the rib cage and then send the thumbs back, we are simply rotating our upper arm within the socket of the shoulders. So please just send the thumbs back as far as you can here, noticing the rotation of the arms. So lovely and tall. And notice whether one arm goes back a little bit further than the other. As you do, 3 more, 2, and then another one. And then we're going to add the up. So send the thumbs back, go wide and all the way up, wide and all the way down. Tuck the elbows into the ribs and return. And then send the thumbs back, all the way up to the top, all the way down. Good. Another 2 would be lovely. Working the back of the shoulders quite a lot. Okay, those 2 of your 4 rotator cuff muscles. Obviously these shoulder pad muscles at the side there. And then rest. Adjust your clothing. I always like to do this one. So thumbs up on this one. Shoulders down, elbows out. Rotating the arms within the socket of the shoulder. So elbows out to shoulder height. Take the hands back as far as you can, but try not to move the torso. Now again here, we want to be able to take our hands back further than our elbows, particularly if you play golf, you don't want that flying elbow. But what we want is flexibility, a mobility of the shoulders, and there are so many muscles that will affect that. These small ones of the shoulders and then those big ones, your biggest back muscle, last one, will restrict this movement, definitely. And then rest. And as I said, we want the strength and stability there, and we want to be aware of our posture. So we're just going to do the dart, big roll of the shoulders, palms face forwards, and we reach down to our heels. And then we relax, big roll of the shoulders, reach down to the heels. As you do this, we're drawing our shoulder blades towards one another and down the back, and lifting the chest a little bit. Conscious of that belt of support. And I would like you to do just a couple more, mainly just to ensure that we've got nice broad shoulders and a lovely long spine for our next exercise. Well, I'd like you to make the decision whether you would like to use weights or not, and if you do, pick them up. If at any point you think, actually, this isn't for me today, then you don't have to use them, and you can just simply put them down and hold hands full of fresh air. So some of you I know have had treatment today, so I would really suggest that you go quite careful with this. Be tall and broad, wrists strong, elbows a little bit bent, draw your tummy in. We're going to take the shoulders down and the arms out to the side, and then lower. I'm going to do 10 of these. And as we do this, we're working the shoulder pad part of the muscles, the deep rotator cuff muscle that is more often than not the pain, the one that's a pain when we say we have a rotator cuff injury, because you're going to want to do that. You're going to cheat. So we don't cheat, we hold the shoulders down, take the arms out. It is also to do with our posture. Be broad, arms out, palms face down, elbows a little bit bent. As you do this, we are absolutely working muscles around our core to hold ourselves upright, lovely and tall. And if you've been counting and you feel that's 10, then rest. But we don't notice them so much because we just stood up. However, when we stay broad here and bring our hands in front and down, so broad shoulders, hands to shoulder height, we will definitely notice those core muscles so we don't get pulled forwards or try and lean back. We absolutely don't want to do that. We stay tall so that book that I've popped on the top of your head doesn't fall off. Really aware of those back muscles with this weight out here. It's hard. As we draw the shoulder blades down our back, and I really am fussy about that because we want good shoulder stability. So as we go up, and then if you feel you've done 10, you can rest. Okay, we notice those back muscles, so we're going to use them and we're going to be aware of them and the muscles around our shoulder blades. So feet hip distance, nice and tall. When you're ready, engage the core and just tip down, hands to the outsides of the knees and stand up. And then again. Now, I say hands to the outsides of the knees, I don't mind, but we're holding the shoulder blades down the back, the collarbones really long, rather than letting gravity and the weights take your shoulders forwards. That's totally not the point. The point is stability here, neck long and long back. At the same time, we are definitely working our hamstrings as we lean over the top. And I would suggest for this purpose you only go to knees. Some people might be tempted to go lower, really lengthening your hamstrings and working your hamstrings, but you have to be confident in the torso alignment and core strength. So let's do 3 more. Your neck is lovely and long, your knees are a little bit bent. Please do that, particularly if you struggle with your back, which many of us do. And once you finish that 3rd one, come up. As I said, only you know how it feels, how you feel, and whether you're rounding. It's an awareness thing here of holding the shoulder blades down the back, because we're going to go to here. Now we don't need to go parallel to the floor, okay? 45 degrees, and then we draw our shoulders back and our hands come in front. And then we go wide with our arms and return. So you absolutely can just do this with hands full of fresh air. You could do this seated. Just sit down, lean in a little bit and go wide. Working the back of your shoulders, the long muscles of your back, and of course your core. Holding the shoulder blades down the back. Knees bent, please. I can't tell you how important that is. As we do one more. And then we stand up. Oh, and we notice those back muscles. This time we're going to add some rotation. Please hold the shoulder blades down back, like you've done a dart and you're stuck there because those muscles have stayed active. Come forwards here, and then we take one arm up and rotate and come down. And then the other arm and down. Because we're looking underneath the arm only goes to where you normally go. It goes higher because you've turned. Okay, so don't try to do anything funny with the shoulder like poke it forwards and twist and go back behind you. No. Keep the spine lovely and long. Arm up and back. Take your time rather than launch your arm up. Definitely engage your core. And those of you struggling with your back, just be conscious of how far forward you tip forward, not too far. Definitely drawing the tummy in. Brilliant. One more to each side. And then the other way. And then rest. Come up. You can feel your back muscles, can't you? I'm sure you're aware of those long erector spinae muscles, they're called. Many of them that travel down the length of your spine to your head, from your head to your pelvis. Let's give them a break for a second as we do a bicep curl and a tricep kick back. So we bring palms to shoulders, little fingers go back. Palms to shoulders, little fingers. As we do this, we hold the shoulder blades down the back, we hold the core on, activate those core muscles, and we are simply moving the lower arm. So we bend the lower arm, bend the elbow, lifting the lower arm, and then we straighten. And we can do this quite easily with this weight, but we could make it a bit more difficult by pausing at the back bit, holding the shoulder blades down the back, engaging the core, bending the knees, and leaning in. And doing a few more in this position if you wish to. Because of course here, it makes it more difficult for your arms. Okay, against gravity, particularly this one, as you kick back here, lift it, the elbows stay up, and we hold the shoulder blades down the back. We engage the core. We are working the long muscles of our back. Great. And we're going to do 2 more. And 1 more. And come up and rest. Noticing that we've definitely worked the back of the body and the arms. We're going to put one weight down. Please be careful how you put that one weight down. Just work the back. And as I say, if this is tricky for you, you can stay seated, okay? But the rest of us are going to hold the weight with one hand. We're going to take our feet wider. Now we've been doing the push-up, and we're going to do a version of that, but it's not going to go up. So weight in one hand, opposite foot forwards. Please be careful. If you've had treatment on the shoulder, be really, really careful. Elbow up, send the elbow back behind you. Drive the weight forwards and slightly down this time. Come back. Now, we do this normally with pulses in front. We are doing it with the weight first. So here, we take the elbow back and look back, because this is good, and then we drive forward and slightly down. But we are very careful with the pace and not going too low, okay? As we tuck the tail under around the back, go across in front of that forward leg. Now, maybe you've been counting and 10 would be good, and I didn't. So as you reach forwards, lots of control, please. Challenging to the back muscles. Definitely awareness of your core. And once you've done your 10, rest, step in, warm and fuzzy down one side, feel a bit lopsided. So we swap hands and swap feet. Knees a little soft, elbow out to the side. Draw the elbow back, drive the weight forwards and down. Now, as I said earlier, as you do 10 of these with lots of control, we're moving bigger. We're moving to try and work on our flexibility of muscles and mobility. So nice stretching down the length of your back, rotation of the spine. But at the same time, we've got the weight in our hand today, so we are encouraging some strength and stability as we reach and come back. And then once you've done 10, rest. And this is where you pop your weight down, and we definitely notice the back, okay? So let's just stay tall and let the spine rotate. Notice if it feels a little bit easier, or maybe not. Hopefully it does. Definitely not worse, we've moved a lot. 4 more, 3, 2, 1. And settle back to the center. Okay, I'd like to just add a bit more stretch and a bit more rotation, okay? Being very, very careful, so we're going to take our feet a bit wider, step the same foot forward that you did first when we did the reaching exercise. Therefore, opposite arm to front foot is just going to go back behind you, and I lead back with my back of my hand and come across and pulse round to the side. 2, 3, and then go back, and then come across. 1, 2, 3. So, as we do this, we're sweeping around and rotating our spine as much as we can. And adding the little pulse. Some of you might think, oh, I am going to tip. I'm going to tip a little bit. That's absolutely up to you. We're only going to do 2 more on this side. Flinging our arm as the arm goes back, a nice little chest stretch. And then settle, step back. Notice again, more mobile on one side because we've moved bigger, and step the other foot forward. Knees soft, okay? Opposite arm to front leg. Goes back, and then you go around. 3, 2, 1. Now as you do this, I'd like you to notice how you feel, okay? How your back feels. I've been feeling the need to stretch this side quite a lot in recent weeks, and it is starting to feel better. And I want you to notice you. Notice where you may be feeling a bit tight. That's it. I'm going to do a couple more. Sweep back, sweep round, and then last one. And hopefully now we feel equally loose through the back, and sometimes that means a little bit feek and weeble, as we say in my house. We're going to keep our feet still, hip distance apart and parallel, and we're just going to lengthen across the collarbone. So we're going to draw the shoulder blades down the back, take the arms forwards, engage the core, lead back with one elbow, take your hand back, palm up, shoulder blade down the back, and then return. Elbow back, palm up. As you do this, we are lengthening across the collarbone, opening the chest, rotating the spine, which is great, and working a little bit again in the back of our shoulder. So we draw the elbow back, shoulder blade closer to the spine, hand back, palm up. 1 more to each side, please. And then the other way. And then rest. And from here, if you feel okay too, let's roll down and do a back bend before we take ourselves down to the floor. So we breathe in. As you breathe out, relax your neck and shoulders. Let your arms hang and take your time in going all the way down as far as you are happy to. where we engage the core, breathing in. As you breathe out, draw yourself back up, tucking the tail under, get this hanging, and then we lift up, shoulder blades slide down the back, arms go up, reach back, go wide. Let's go again, relaxing, arms hanging, take your time. Nice cheeky stretch. If you straighten your legs, that's fine, you must bend them before you come back up. Tall and broad, reach. One more just for me in your own time, if you're happy to. Nice bit of movement in the spine. And then rest. Fabulous. Okay, we are going to take ourselves down onto the mat and we're going to have a lie on our back. You will, if you wish to, in a moment need your weights, but you don't have to, but if you're going to, put them close by so you don't have to reach too far. You can move your screens if you like. In fact, I might move mine, say hello, and then take yourself down onto the mat. As you lie down, make your spine longer. Give the discs that are in between every single vertebra, hopefully, an opportunity to puff back up like a load of cushions. And often when we lie down here, we put our arms by our side, and if we were to see our shoulders here, they're poked forwards just because that's how they will go, unless we slot the shoulder blades down the back of the rib cage and take the arms out a bit. Because the shoulder girdle complex is only attached to the skeleton right at the front here. So collarbone needs to sit back so the shoulder blade can sit back underneath the rib cage. Then your arms are free to relax. Then we just do a few chin tucks. So tuck the chin and release, lengthening the muscles in the back of the neck. Now, as I said earlier, we really don't want to keep hinging at the bottom of the neck, which lots of people do, looking at screens. It's not great for the neck. So let's just do a couple more. And then allow yourself to settle. Nice and open across the front of the shoulders and your chest. And then bend your knees. Your feet are on the floor closer to your bottom. Hip distance apart, as you then do a few pelvic tilts. So we draw the tummy in, push your back towards the floor and gently release. And we do this a few times. And then once more. So you allow yourself to settle on the back of the pelvis and the base of the spine with a small arc there in your lower back. As you lie here, just become aware of your breathing, and as you breathe out, remember this muscle that goes around your waist. Literally all the way around, attaching to your ribs all the way around and your pelvis all the way around to your spine. And you feel it in your tummy. It narrows your waist. And combined with the pelvic floor, creates stability for the pelvis and the lumbar spine. As you just lengthen away one leg and then return, and then the other one. Now, as we do this, I'd like you to notice, are you able to stay nice and relaxed in your shoulders? Do you feel that your core muscle, so that deepest abdominal, when I say muscle, is able to hold your pelvis still whilst the weight of your leg and the muscles that are attached to it go away? So therefore they could make your back arc. We don't want that. We keep the tail tucked under and we just lengthen the leg if we can, opening up through the front of the hip. And I would like you, please, to do 4 more. Conscious of the drawing in feeling around your waist, conscious of the movement at the hip, and then once you've completed the 4, as you rest the foot, relax and notice where you relax. Then I'd like you to take your feet wide, wider than your hips and knees really bent. Arms out nice and wide to the side as we engage the core and send our knees to one side. draw yourself back across the back of the pelvis and take your knees to the other side. Now as we do this, I'd like you to be aware of the stretch for you. So whether you feel it here down the side of the torso, or across the side of the hip, or down the side of your thigh, as we keep the arms lovely and open and just alternate sides. Noticing the rotation of the spine. Noticing, as you take that top knee down, how far to the floor, or how close to the floor you can take it. And then, as I said, nice and open across the shoulders. Let's do 4 more. I'd like you to notice if it feels a bit better than it did last time you did this. Some of you might say yes. I'm going to say yes. Definitely. As we return back to the centre, bring our feet back to hip distance apart and parallel. What I'd like you to do, is bring your arms to your side. From this neutral position, breathe in. As you breathe out, both arms up and back above the head and round the side on your return. If this is not very pleasant for your shoulders, then don't do the round the side. Just go up and back and over the top. Okay, because what we're looking for is the lengthening across the front of the shoulders and the range of movement. So do your arms pretty much go all the way to the floor? Do you pretty much sweep the floor on the way around? Maybe. But if we work on this flexibility, I guarantee you reduce the risk of shoulder injury and neck pain, particularly if your neck is lovely and long here. If your shoulder is currently injured, round the side is not going to be very pleasant, so don't do it. 2 more, please. Noticing the upper back bit and how far back you can take your arms. Now I've got my weights above my head, so I'm going to grab them now, and we're going to hold our weights or arms above our ribs. Now someone said to me yesterday, as I said, please move your weights above your ribs, not your face, and he said, is that in case I drop them? And yes, clearly you do not want to drop your weights on your face, but it is also to bring your shoulders down away from your ears and keep them there as we breathe out and take both arms up and back. Now the shoulders will lift slightly, but our arms are wide. They are shoulder width apart, and actually as your arms go back, the elbows stick a little bit out to the side, so we've got a big gap between our arms and our ears, and we keep the shoulders down as much as possible. Very impressive with the range of movement. I'd really like the arms not to bend at the back here and be sticking in the air. Okay, I'd really like arms to be pretty long. Rotate the arms and go back as far as you can. Please note, if you struggle to get your arms back, we need to work on this. We need to use the band and work on this because it's not helpful to your shoulders and your posture, and increased risk of injury as you do. 2 more, please. Now, of course, many muscles that attach from your arms to your torso that are lengthening here at the back. And then there's those muscles that you need to use to bring your weights back over. So from here, with your feet either on the floor or your knees up, the choice is yours. I'd like you to remember that corset of support and lengthen the arms and maybe one leg, and then return. And then again. So we remember those core muscles, that drawing in feeling around our waist. Maybe our obliques are going to help as well, and other muscles that make this more challenging. Some of you, as you make it more challenging, might take one leg long and swap legs, and then maybe those of you taking both feet down and return. But whatever you're doing, you are conscious of that corset muscle around your waist, supporting the lumbar spine and pelvis. Essential for life, for sport, reduce risk of injury as we do. 2 more, please. And then I'm going to change it. very slightly, okay, and just test our brain's coordination, brain to muscle message, proprioception, because sometimes we need to. We have muscle memory. That feels very familiar. We're really used to it. So let's make it a little bit different. So you're going to have to think about it. It's a little bit like adjusting a tennis swing or a golf swing. The little changes will make a difference and hopefully make it better, but you've got to think about them. So, hands above ribs. Feet can be here or here. Legs stay still. Arms go up and back. As your arms return, push one leg away. Arms go up and back, and then push the other leg away. So it's a little seesaw-ish. Okay, I like this because as your arms draw over, the ribs draw down, you push the leg away, we activate stabilising muscles here under the shoulder blade, ribs draw down, so muscles in between the ribs and our core, and we all feel strong here, literally the entire torso. So this is an exercise that I quite like for that reason. Shoulder blades and core, shoulder stability and core stability. We draw back over. I would ask you though, have I talked too long and you've now gone back to the way that you now love? As you just sort of naturally change and you think, oh no, I'm taking my leg long as my arms go long. Nope. Let's do 2 more. And then rest. Okay. And then we're going to take our feet down, arms out lovely and wide, knowing that we want to be open across the chest and shoulders as we glue our feet and knees together. And then from here, or knees up, breathe in. As you breathe out, send your knees to one side, keep the opposite shoulder blade on the floor, draw yourself back. Actively push the shoulder blade to the floor, therefore encouraging length across the front of your shoulder. And then draw back. And then again, over we go. As we do this, it's really lovely for the spine. Everybody wants good rotation of the spine. Okay, we all do from a life function point of view. I've been working with golfers recently and they definitely want good rotation of the spine. In awe of lovely Ollie's huge rotation that he has. Can practically send, or he does send his golf club completely all the way around to the other direction to where it should be. As you do 2 more and 1 more. And then return. Now, you can keep your weights if you like or put them down. I'm going to keep mine, and that's one choice that you have. Keep them, put them down. This next choice you have is arms up and back and curl up is the first choice. Arms up and back and roll up is the second choice. Okay? I don't mind what you do. The decision is yours. However, the roll up depends on your flexibility. Some people find the weight, in fact the weights definitely do help as they come over. You lift your head, push your lower back into the floor, and then the weight will enable you possibly to come up a bit further. But I'm not promising. As we draw the hands over, oh, lift, and then go back. Nice flexion of the spine, tuck, tail under, lift up with the top of the head as we then go back. Brilliant. Or you are not simply, it's not simple at all, curling up. Everybody is keeping a gap between their chin and their chest. Please. Excellent. And some of you who are maybe feeling all fancy pants on the curl up, roll up, could start high and go back here, making it more difficult with the weight. So your hands come over slightly, head lifts, and we aim high. 2 more of whatever you're doing, please. rest. Marvellous. Let's put the weights down. You'll be glad to hear that. Let your arms rest. Now when we curled up, hopefully we were drawing the tummy in. Then, in order to move, we were using this six-pack muscle that runs down the front. It's called rectus abdominis. It is a long muscle that literally attaches to your pubic bone and your lower ribs here. Long and straight down the front with a bit of cartilage in it that creates those separations. That muscle does not create, its job is not stability, but sometimes it will help to keep you still. I'm going to show you that by staying nice and still here, neutral position, raise your knees. Breathe in as you think about that pelvic floor and drawing in feeling, and then breathe out. Take your feet down, tap the floor, and then bring your feet back up, and then again. Now, the minute both knees move away, it's harder, much harder, and that long six-pack muscle will contract, but it doesn't shorten, it just contracts. The fibres hold themselves together without going together. So it does help. We definitely need that drawing in feeling, deep abdominal muscle and our obliques. If it's too much, go to one leg, okay? And some of you I know will be going long with both legs. So the choice is yours, but know that other muscles on top of that deepest abdominal muscle will absolutely be working as you do this twice more. And then give your knees a hug. Great. Okay. With that in mind, we also know that the six-pack muscle will help to create stability, but our deepest abdominal is absolutely about endurance, stabilising the lumbar spine and pelvis all day long. So, you can raise the knees and beat our arms beside us 100 times. That's easy-ish. I'd like you to move your knees a bit further away from you. So now we're having to be a bit stronger, and maybe we're using that six-pack muscle as well, and our obliques. Maybe you're happy to lengthen away a leg and hold it as you do your 100 beats. Some of you I know will curl up, fine by me, but make sure you're drawing the tummy in, and a full 100 is here. Okay, so you could say, actually, well, I'm going to challenge myself and do the full 100. Conscious of that drawing in feeling, but you might stay just here. Conscious of that drawing in feeling and our pelvic floor muscle as we do 100 beats. Now, I like this exercise to remind the back that there is a muscle whose job it is to support the lumbar spine and pelvis. It's supposed to work all day long, and sometimes it takes a little break when it's not supposed to. Okay, it should be ready and alert from the minute you get up. So we just beat the hands here. Now maybe you've counted, maybe you haven't, but I'm going to call it 10, 9, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest. Fabulous. Let's just be nice to those muscles at the front of the legs that held your legs up for that duration. Feet closest to your bottom, neck long, shoulders open. Do a pelvic tilt and then peel your spine off the mat and send your knees away from you. Breathe in. As you breathe out, go down. So some easy bridging, knowing that when we do our pelvic tilt, we ideally want to literally lift one vertebra off the floor at a time. And then as you send your knees away, we're lengthening from the front of the hips all the way down to just below the knees, at the front here. Okay, particularly if you're able to bring your feet quite close to you. If they're quite far away, you're going to get cramp in your hamstrings. You might get cramp in your hamstrings, or your hamstrings work harder. And notice, I've definitely got more than a 90-degree bend at my knees here at the top. Tuck the tail under, and it's lovely across the front of the hip, and that stretch, that lengthening feeling down the thigh. One of your quadricep muscles has two heads to it, and one of those heads attaches to the front of the pelvis here. okay, right at the front. All of the muscle, the rest of the muscles attached to the thigh here, and they all go down the length of your thigh and attach below your knee. Your kneecap, a bone that sits in the tendon of your quadricep muscles. They all want to be strong, they all want to be flexible, and sometimes we forget this top bit. As you do one more. And then we allow ourselves to lie back down on the mat, and we take one knee into the chest, give it a hug, slide the other leg away. So again, we're opening a bit through the hip here as we hug and circle the foot a few times in each direction. And then change legs. And as you do this, we're just noticing the movement that we have in our ankles, noticing that how much we can hug the knees. We should really be able to. You might not want to flex your knee that much. You might be hugging right under the by the thigh here, coming right in. And then if you like, you can use that leg or roll onto your side. But we do need to bring ourselves up into a seated position. And as we sit here, notice how your hips feel, notice how your spine feels, and then just become a little bit more aware of your neck. Okay, I'd like you to just take the head back. Remember what I said at the beginning about this? I don't understand why people would hold their phones down here and not notice this big sticky out bit at the base of the neck. Use your arms and take your head back. Okay, be aware of this, because otherwise it doesn't look very good for a start, and we will end up with neck and shoulder pain. So lots of dart and lots of neck lengthening. You can even stand against a wall, shoulders open, and just do a few chin tucks. It's very attractive, but it's all about getting the length in the neck. So consider the length in the neck and then turn your head. And if you're thinking, but I can hear it, I can hear what's going on in my neck, it's tight, and that's literally stuff on stuff, because the muscles are holding your vertebra closer together. So I'm not going to say bone on bone, but the whole thing is shorter. Your neck was longer once. So if we can maintain that length, or get back to that length, it will be less noisy, and we'll have much better rotation. So one more to each side. And then, hopefully, when you get up, you'll feel lovely and mobile. We've moved bigger, we've worked on our stability and strength and awareness of the shoulders, rotation of the spine, and that stretch diagonally. So hopefully the plan was to leave you feeling fabulous. Thank you so much for joining me. Well done.